little. Big, little. Big A. Little A. A, B, C. Big A, little a. What begins with A? Aunt Annie's alligator. A, A, A. Big B, little b. What begins with B? Barber, baby, bubbles, and a bumblebee. Big C, little c. What begins with C? Camel on the ceiling. C, C, C. Big D, little d. What begins with D? Donuts and a duck dog. D, D, D. Big E, little e. What begins with E? Ear, egg, elephant. E, E, E. Big F, little f. What begins with F? 4 fluffy feathers on a pfiffer, pfeffer, pfeff. Das ist kein Wort. Das ist Quatsch. Pfiffer, pfeffer, pfeff. Big G, little g. What begins with G? Goat and goo goo goggles. G, G, G. Big H, little h. What begins with H? Hungry horse. I'm hungry. Hen in hat. H, H, H. Big I, little I. What begins with I? Itchy, itchy, Ichabod. I. Itchy, itchy, ooh, itchy. Big J, little j. What begins with J? Jerry Jordan's jelly jar. J, J, J. Big K, little k. What begins with K? Kangaroo and kite. K, K, K. Big L, little l. What begins with L? Lion and a lollipop. L, L, L. Big M, little m. What begins with M? Mice in the moonlight. M, M, M. Big N, little n. What begins with those? 9 new neckties. Nightshirt and nose. Big O, little o. What begins with O? Ostrich, oil, owl. O, O, O. Big P, little p. What begins with P? Painting some pajamas pink. P, P, P. Big Q, little q. What begins with Q? The quick queen of Quincy and her quacking quackaroo. Das ist auch Quatsch. Quackaroo. Big R, little r. What begins with R? Rosie's red rhinoceros. R, R, R. Rhinoceros. Big S, little s. What begins with S? Sammy's sipping soda pop. S, S, S. Big T, little t, what begins with T? 10 tired turtles on a turtle-tuttle tree. Big U, little u, what begins with U? Uncle Ub's umbrella and his underwear, too. Big V, little v, what begins with V? Verna, Vera, Vin, and her violet violin. Violet bedeutet purple. Big W, little w, what begins with W? Willie's in the wash tub, washing Waldo. Woo. Big X, little x, what begins with X? X-ray and xylophone. X, X, X. Big Y, little y, what begins with Y? A yawning, yawn. A yawning yellow yak with Yolanda on its back. Yak, yak. Big Z, little z, what begins with Z? A zizzer, zazzer, zuzz, as you can plainly see. Zizzer, zazzer, zuzzes. Kuvatch. The end.